Hi everyone! Today we're going to be working on this new nail design. It is for the release of Breaking Dawn Part 1. And every time one of the Twilight movies comes out, I always do one for the movie version, which is usually replicating the poster, and then one for the book cover. So this is the one for the movie poster, and this is what it looks like. So it is the trying to get my fingers in there. The purple sunset, actually sunrise, excuse me, Breaking Dawn of course. So it has the dusty mauves and the purples, and then the silhouettes of all the forest green, evergreen trees. So hopefully you can see that. And of course I'll take clear photographs so that you can see, because I know I stink at showing it in the camera. So anyway, let's get started. We're going to use several different shades of pinks and mauves into a deep purple. And the first color, and I'm going to lay this down on the entire nail for a base coat, is from Brucci, and it is called Johnny's Girl, and it is just a really soft, muted pink. So we're just going to paint this all over the nail until we get a nice opaque pink on the nail. This one's a little bit thin, so I'm going to use 2 coats, though it really isn't necessary since I'm going to be layering all the other colors on top. But for now, we'll just do the 2 coats because that's just what I prefer. So I'll work on the second coat and then we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. I've applied 2 coats to the light dusty pink color, and I've allowed it to dry just a couple minutes. It's still a little bit wet, which is actually what I want. Now I'm going to be working with the rest of the colors. This is Model Zone, and it is called Pure Purple. So that's the first shade. This is Jordana, and it is called Silky Purple. It's a nice dusty, lighter version of the first color. This is Essie, and it is Splash of Grenadine, and then the last color is Sinful Colors, and it is called Starfish. So we're going to work with the darkest shade first, and then we're going to work our way down. Now you can sponge this if you like. I prefer this particular technique, especially with when you're doing skies and types of landscaping type of looks. This gives a blended look, almost kind of like a marble look. It's really easy technique, and it's fun to do, and I'll show you in 1 minute. So we're going to start with the darkest shade, which is the Model Zone shade, and we're just going to apply right along the top cuticle here. And you're just going to, you know, you want to get right up to the cuticle, but then when you're going down on, ooh, I'm not even in view, am I? When you get down a little bit, you just want to be kind of haphazard with the color. You don't want to use a heavy duty coat, but you don't want to use a super thin coat, so right in the middle, a good amount. And then you're going to move to the next shade. This is the Jordana color. And we're going to meet up right on the edge there. Again, doing a fairly good amount of polish. Not goopy, but a thick coat. And you can see how it's starting to look here. If I could just get it in range. There we go. Now we're going to work with the Essie color next. And you'll see why I'm using a thick coat on all of these in 1 minute, as soon as I get the rest of the colors applied. Does not have to be perfect, totally haphazard. You could do it on an angle if you like, straight across. I'm kind of doing a slight curve on each of the colors. And then we're doing the last shade here, which is the Sinful Colors Starfish, this dusty pink here, which is a slightly darker color than the base that we used. Now we've got all the colors applied. I'm going to take a clear top coat. Now this one is a second bottle of top coat that I have just laying around that I use strictly for this blending technique. So I'm going to get a little bit of clear polish onto the brush, and then I'm going to go in on top, and I'm basically blending the colors together. I'm using a very light hand, so you want to get a nice blend, but you don't want them to be too mixed up. So we're just doing a light blend of all the colors. And you may need to occasionally wipe off the brush. So I'm just, where each color meets, I'm just blending them in a little bit. And like I said, this is perfect for when you're doing a sunrise or sunset type of cascading color skyline. This is really, really perfect. So that's pretty much what it looks like right there. Hold on, get it in there. There we go. So all the colors are just slightly blended. They're mixed in just a tiny bit, which is exactly what you want for this kind of skyline. Really nice. And as for the brush on the top coat, just take a little, if it's really, really messy with all the colors, then you can just take a cotton ball with some nail polish remover and give it a quick wipe first and then put it back in the bottle. I usually use such a light hand that I don't have to do that. And any excess I'll just wipe off on the paper that I always have laying down on my desk. So that's pretty much it for the base. Now we're gonna let this dry for a tiny bit, and we'll be back for the next step. Okay, we've allowed this to dry for a couple more minutes. It's still tacky, but that's okay. Now this next step is completely optional, but if you're trying to be really exact with the movie poster, you'll notice that there is some slight peachness across the skyline. So I just cut up a tiny little piece of sponge, and I cut it right along the edge of the... Okay, it's not focusing. Come on. Alright, camera's being stubborn. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I cut it right along the edge so I have this hard corner of the sponge, and I'm going to use that to give that little peach gradation within the skyline. The color that I'm using is, what is it? First, can you see that? First Kiss, and it's from the Sally Hansen Complete Salon Manicure. So I'm just going to place a drop right onto my paper, and then I'm going to take that corner and I'm going to dip it into the color. Let's move it back just a smidge. So I have just a tiny bit on the corner there. Give it a few dabs just to make sure I don't have any extra. And I'm just going to place a couple of little striations of the peach color in the sky. Not too much, just a little bit. It's really a tiny detail that probably isn't necessary, but I like to be thorough. So we're going to allow this to dry, and then we're once again going to follow the next step. Okay, we've allowed the nail to dry for a couple more minutes. Now we're going to finish it with the final steps, and that is putting in the silhouettes for the trees. Now I'm taking my nail art striper, my LA Colors Art Deco in black, and I'm going to use some thin lines on the nail. And this is primarily for a guide of where I want the trees to be, because once we fill in the rest of it, you're really not going to see that much of the actual tree, the stump. But it's good to have it anyway, and you can see it depending on how light you are with your painting. You could put as many or as few as you want. You could keep the trees just on the outer edges. You could go all the way across the nail. It's completely okay. It's just your choice how in depth you want to be, how many trees you want. So just a couple lines. They don't have to be straight, because trees don't grow straight, of course. Now we're going to place a little bit of black. Now you can use acrylic paint or you can use nail polish, totally up to you. I'm using nail polish with this, and this is Wet n Wild black cream, and I'm just placing a dot of polish onto the paper. And now I'm getting a flat, let's see if we can get this in the camera. This is a flat brush. See how it's flat? And this brush is taking quite a beating, otherwise I would be able to give you the exact name and number of this brush, but I did get it at the local craft store. So it's a flat brush, and I wish to God I could keep it in the camera view. There we go. So we're going to dip it into the black. Let me put another dot that's right in camera view so you could see. We're going to dip it into the polish, and I'm putting it on both sides just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight down on the nail with the flat tip of the brush, and you could either do the full edge of the brush like that, or you could do the corner. I find it's easier to do the corner since the trees are pretty small on my short nails. If you have longer nails, of course, you could go bigger and wider with the nails. And what you're going to do is you're going to start here, and then you're going to move from left to right, pouncing the color from the brush. And as you go further down, you're going to get wider and wider. So you're going to start real small and then start making the base of the tree that's the widest, of course, and the top is the smallest. So you're going to start tight and go wider. So you're just bouncing back and forth like that. until you get down to the bottom. And then the first tree will look something like that. Let's see if I can zoom it in a little bit. We'll do the other side. So again, like I said, I'm using the corner because I'm working in such a tiny area. And you're basically pouncing the brush back and forth, getting wider and wider till I hit the base. And it gives you this kind of here we go. I don't know if I'm getting the light. So that gives us the tree look right there. And again, like I said, you could put as many or as few. On this one I have a few more. This one I only have 2. So it just depends. But all in all, that's the look right there. I know I really stink at these camera angles. I'm sorry guys, but it's very difficult because I'm left-handed, but the light is coming from the other side, so it's very awkward for me to try and film it this way, but I'm trying. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of the look. Once you fill it in with all the trees and they dry, then you can apply your top coat and you're pretty much done.